Hi, and thank you so much for joining me today for day 23 of 30 days of sketches with Christie's Beautiful Life. And this beautiful sketch has been created by Sheri Stewart. So you can see she's using 3 photos, one at the top and bottom on the left hand side and one in the middle on the right hand side. And then there are strips of what looks like wood grain paper in between the photos. So I decided to grab this Tim Holtz collection from Stampers Anonymous stamp, and I'm using it with my Distress Oxides, and what I'm doing is putting the ink onto the stamp, as you can see there, and then using my paintbrush with just some water to water it down ever so slightly to get this watercolour effect, but you still have the shape of the stamp on there. So I'm starting off with tea dye, and then once I've gone in with the tea dye, I shall use a couple of other colours just to bring in some more of those oranges. This is an autumnal layout from our trip to Boston in 2015, and we just had a lazy Sunday shopping on Beacon Hill and having a look around, and I got some pictures of the pumpkins at one of the vegetable stores, and of course my red cup of Starbucks, which I did have every day while we were there. So I shall just continue to build up these blocks of colour, like I say, with the tea dye to start with, and then I'll come in with a couple of other colours. So please do remember to check the description box down below to see everybody else who's joining in on this fun hop. There's a playlist so you can just watch to your heart's content. I found some really amazing creators by looking in on that playlist, so do take a look when you get a chance. And if you like what you see from me, I'd love it if you would subscribe to my channel and give this video a like and comment below if you've got anything to say to me. It really does help my channel so much. It gets the exposure for everybody else to see it as well. So anyway, now that's over and done with, I'm next coming in with the Fossilised Amber Distress Oxide, just to bring in a little bit of yellow. Now I'm only putting it down half of the stamp, as you can see there, because I didn't want to completely cover up that tea dye. I just wanted to bring a little bit of yellow into parts of the stamped areas, and I'm not being too careful where I'm putting it. It's just, like I say, to bring in a bit of that colour. So once that fossilised amber's done, I'm going to come in with dried marigold, which is more of a peachy orange, and just add a little bit of that to it too. So I just left that to dry, and then I'm coming in with my photos to see how that looks. And you can see I've misjudged where to put that piece on the left hand side, but not to worry. I'm just going to build up the layers a little bit more, bringing them down further down the page so that it covers that gap between the 2 photos on the left hand side. And I'll also add a bit more to the right hand side where you can see the white gaps around the photo. So while that was drying, I just matted my photos onto some plain white cardstock, just a very small border, just to give them a bit more structure. And now I'm going to come in and mat them. So I'm using the 6x6 pad, and all the elements that I'm using today are from the new Good Times collection from Pinkfresh Studio. I love this. It's got a really nice autumnal feel, but slightly different colour palette with the teals and the mauve tones in it. So you can see I've used 2 of the 6x6 papers to mat the first 2 photos, and then I'm just using the offcuts to mat this 3rd photo, because the 2 on the left are of the same thing. It's just the pumpkins at the vegetable store, and the photo on the right is of my coffee, which is a slightly different subject. I thought it would be nice to change the way that I've matted that. So I went through all of those pieces that I'm using for mats and distressed the edges. And now I'm just, with the tiny bits of offcuts that I've got left, I'm punching out some tabs to add to those layers and around the photo. So I've just used that green piece there for that one, and now I'm going to use this pink, and I wanted the leaves to be the right way around, so I'm punching it as a double, and then I'll use the one with the leaves the correct way around. And in fact, when I start distressing it, I actually use it the other way around anyway. I prefer the other side, but there you go. So just gluing down these photos as I go, distressing the edges of the tab, and that'll go down, and you'll see I'll turn it over in a minute and realise that I prefer the other side. So just flipped it over like that. So now doing the same with that top photo before moving on to the coffee cup. And just doing a bit of faffing with the layers. If you've watched my videos before, you'll know I do I do like to faff with things before finally gluing them down. So once I'm happy with the placement, I shall just peel off the edges. First of all, sticking the photo down, and then peel up the edges of each of the pieces of paper just to keep them in the position that I want them. There we go. So just gluing each bit down, and then I'll have to flip it over, I think, to get the rest of it on the back. It's not always easy because I've distressed the edges. There's a bit more texture, so it takes a little bit more finagling to get it down. But there, that's done now. And here's the last tab that I actually end up putting at the bottom. Oh, that's right, I decided that green would be nice to contrast against this one. And you've got the green on the logo, the Starbucks logo on the coffee cup. So once again, just distressing with my fingernail, and then try a few different places for that tab, but it does go down the bottom there in the end. And gluing that down. So now using foam pads, these are the Sticks 225mm foam pads that I use on almost every layout, and they're sold at Hey Little Magpie as a massive roll, and they last forever. I'm still on my first roll. So just mounting those photos just so that they pop up from the page a bit, and it'll also make it easier to embellish around them because they'll be lifted up off the page. So I'm not actually gluing them down yet, I'm just going to start messing with my embellishments. These pumpkins are a new range from JD 3D Print at Hey Little Magpie, as is that maple leaf up there. And the leaves that I'm using are actually hand cut from one of the 12x12, well, a couple of the 12x12 papers. I've done some quite a bit of fussy cutting in this collection just to make it go further. So I've punched a little circle as a grounding piece to put the pumpkins on top of and to have the leaves coming out of. And now that I'm happy with the way that my embellishing is going in that corner, I'm sticking the photos down so that I can carry on. So the sketch very much is big embellishments up the middle of the page with the title in the middle. I'm using some smaller embellishments and changing the positioning of them slightly, but other than that I have kept fairly close to the sketch today, and it is, as I say, it's a lovely sketch, one that I'll certainly try again. It's a really nice way of using 3 square photos on your layout. So just having a little play with that pumpkin and those leaves just to check the placement, and then they're glued down with some Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. Any good quality PVA glue works with these. The same if you're using any kind of acrylic or 3D printed products. So just popping those down and then edging those leaves in to nestle underneath. I really love how that looks. And I'm just using some of my tiny Sticks 2 foam pads. Again, these are available at Hey Little Magpie to pop those leaves up, just to give a bit of dimension. and then I'll move on up to continue embellishing around the layout. So now I'm going to dig into the 6x12 sticker sheets. I really love these sticker sheets from Pinkfresh. They have loads of these words, phrases on, and I think these are perfect, filling up that gap in between the two photos. So I'm just pulling off a few word phrases. They all seem to suit this layout. So the top one says, love this day. Then I've got you and me, together, memories together, and make memories. And that just fills that space up really nicely. So it's not just a piece of mixed media. You can still see the mixed media poking through, but it just adds a bit of interest there. And then, like I say, these two autumnal leaves from JD 3D Prints, which I love. So just sticking those down on there as well to fill up that gap. And the layout of this sketch has definitely made me work around the different areas. So I'm moving on up to that top photo now and adding a little bit of embellishing here. So I'm starting off with one of the label stickers, just adding that below the tab. And I'm trying to keep everything to the strip that goes up that right hand side. That's where I finish there for now, but it's not the end. So moving on to the right hand side, and I find this little circular sticker that says lazy days, and then I think actually I better add my title before going too far. So the title is just Beacon Hill, and I'm using the stickers from the same collection just to spell that out, which is the area we were in Boston. Now I'm in the stationery pack, and I just find this banner that says these are the days, and I think that will really nicely finish off that coffee cup area. So I have to pull that circle up. This is why I'm hopeless working with stickers, because I put them down and then want to move them almost immediately. So just trying to work out exactly where to put this, because of that label, the tab being underneath the photo, it's just hanging over a little bit too far. So I want to make sure that it's clear that you can read these are the days on that banner. So I'm happy with the placement now, so I shall stick that down, and the Lazy Days circle just comes off the page ever so slightly, which is a nice look. So I'll just trim off the edge there. And now I'm going to go into these lovely wood embellishments, and I like that piece that says live in the moment, so I'm going to add that, I think at the top at first, but it goes down here and sits nicely there. And then I want to start embellishing at the top here. So just add those oak leaves for now. Another label. And of course, I want to put the label under the oak leaves. I don't learn, do I? Every time. And now I'm coming in with these 49 and Market tickets. I really love these tickets. I've only got them in yellow and red at the moment, but I can see more colours coming into my life at some point soon. They're great using the reverse and the front of the tickets. You can see with that red one, I've just used the reverse. I didn't want the printed side. And then I'm using one of the little stamps that are in there as well. You get 3 rolls in total, all with different things on them. They're great. So just bringing that red in from the coffee cup. And then another piece that actually goes to the left-hand bottom corner there. And it just brings the red all the way around to that little area of the layout. And then with this last piece, I'm going to move that onto the top left photo, which I haven't really done much with yet, and nestle that together with a yellow ticket. And then just to complete it all, add some to this bottom one as well. So just some a yellow stamp and a yellow ticket down here. There's the stamp. And these stamps are great because they're all different tones. The tickets tend to be more of a similar tone on each roll, but that's really different. So now coming in with my journaling, and my journaling just reads, a lazy Sunday afternoon mooch around Beacon Hill in Boston, beautiful antique shops and vegetable stalls full of pumpkins, and of course my obligatory Starbucks. Like I say, I did have one, I think, just about every day that we were on this holiday. That was my treat. So my date stamp at the bottom there, just to finish that part off. And then I shall carry on. So first of all, I'm going to go in with some gold splatters, thinking that I've finished the layout, but I haven't. So add these splatters, and then I realise that I'm not really happy with that top right hand corner. It seems very, very empty. So once the gold splatters are down, I'll have to carefully work on that. So just removing those things that shielded the photos, and then coming in with some more leaves. And I'm just going to build up this leaf cluster at the top here. Again, these are the leaves that I've fussy cut from the 12 by 12 papers. It really does make your embellishments go so much further when you do this. So it is a great tip. Have a look at your 12 by 12 papers and see what you can do with them. Adding some foam pads for dimension again. I don't want to go too far to the left on this photo. I don't want to cover up that tag too much. So I just keep building them up. It takes a while, but I get there in the end. And that's it, that's the last piece that goes down. And again, just another foam pad on that right hand leaf, just to lift it up a bit and add dimension. And then going back to the 6 by 12 sticker sheet, I found another phrase sticker that just says cozy vibes, and I like that there. And then another one at the bottom that says together. And then a couple more of these hand cut leaves, and then I'm done. So thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope you've enjoyed the video. Please do ask any questions that you have down in the description box below. I love chatting with you all. And other than that, I shall see you tomorrow for the next sketch. Thank you so much. Bye.